Hello ratbags, it's Jade. Welcome to an Assassin's Creed Valhalla special guide today where I'm taking on very first time one of the Lerion sisters, Cordelia. In fact, one of the hardest, most challenging fights you will have in the game unless you're massively OP leveled or just like really high, far advanced in the game. This is definitely something you don't want to be doing early days unless you've got a real good experience and you've unlocked some key skills. I'm like level 169, you can see she's level 340. This is going to be the toughest fight you might find in the game. What do you get for it? Well, you get part of the Thor's armor set. Now, I was going to save this and do a guide showcasing all three fights, but to be fair, I've seen a few videos showing how you can get this armor suit super early if you've put it on like easy mode and you are pretty much doing some super shenanigans where you can assassinate almost anyone really easily. So this is a proper fight. I will be using some tactics that I've used a lot with all the other Zealot videos I've done, where namely we'll be holding the L1 button to do lots of spam attacks to try and build up our adrenaline. But even with that, this is still one of the most challenging fights. So show your location and then we'll get into my successful attempt at defeating her. So two of the witches you will find in East Anglia, and I think the third one you will find in Grantsbridge. They are different levels. Some of the other ones you might find a little bit lower level. I think this is one of the hardest ones. And you can see on the location, it's just to the west of Grantsbridge main city. Once you've defeated all three of these, you will then go to a special location inside East Anglia, the southern side, where there is seemingly an armour piece or a weapon that you're not being able to get hold of, as it involves putting 3 blades into a statue, and you'll get the blade from each one of these sisters, and that will give you the final piece of Thor's armour set. So you can earn 3 pieces of armour from each one of these, i.e. you get 1 piece from her, you'll get 1 piece from the next sister and the next sister, and then you get that 4th final piece from doing the statue. Now it's not 5 pieces, only 4 pieces for the 4 armor set. But this is really tough. Like you guys know, I've been doing loads of Zealot videos, I've been showing you how to defeat them, and you know, I'm getting pretty adept at this, but absolutely one of the toughest things I've done. So the very first attempts I tried taking her on, I was using my ranged gear. I thought I could maybe do some pulling off shots with that, and that would be good enough. And it also gave me pretty decent evasive scores as well to get out of the way. But in the end, I went back to pretty much the oldest armor set you'll get in the game, which is the basic Raven set, because it has got getting extra armor when you're low on health, and it does have pretty decent evasive scores too. I toyed around with having either a light bow or the hunter's bow, but I think I went pretty much back to hunter's bow, and I made sure every single one of my pieces, which were all flawless apart from the helmet I do believe, which ended up being legendary, had health and armor runes inside them. If anyone has managed to do this by not having the slow down time skill, I applaud you. Let me know your tactic. If you've been using just the harpoon on it, also let me know if that's worked for you, because I can't see either of them tactics really working. Now I remember trying to do this fight when I was only like level 90, as I'd already taken on quite a lot of Zealots that was showing you guys one of the videos to taken off. But man, you're not going to be doing this. Like, I don't care. If anyone manages to beat this queen, this sister before level 150, absolutely show me that you've got it on normal game difficulty, which I've got it on, because I just don't think it's possible if you're doing it on that mode. Maybe if you put it on easy, you might be able to, but anything below 150, I just don't see how you can do it. So pretty much after stepping into arena for like the 5th, 6th, maybe 7th time and getting my ass kicked, you will trigger the event by going up to that skeleton that's hanging up. And you will obviously see a lot of health items around you as well. There's a few mushrooms, there's a few adrenaline ones. So you are going to need your skills that give you 4 maximum abilities or refills of your adrenaline. You're going to need the slowing down time maneuver, which I do a lot. And here I'm doing my tried and trusted method with the 2 axes. You can see it's building up my adrenaline, although not as much as it normally does. I swear it seems to be going a little bit slower. And you can see the various different attacks she does. I'm just spamming and using that ability and going in slow-mo whenever she does her attack, and this kind of worked out pretty well. You can already see I've already got like a quarter of her health down, but this took a lot of practice. She will basically do 3 attacks when she's doing the one that you can parry, but each one of these she will turn in your direction. So you think you'll got out of the way, and then she turns again, she does 1 more, and then the 3rd is a big lunge. That's your opportunity to go in for the attack. So always wait until that lunge has gone before you try getting in there, especially if she's gone slow-mo. She'll also do this when she gets to halfway as well. She'll bring up like a superpower, and you get another little cutscene with her, and this is her basically just getting a bit more amped up. This is one of the most unavoidable ones, where she sends sort of copies of herself flying through, and you've just got to run around and hopefully avoid it. Now this was from earlier fights, because interestingly she didn't actually do this one enough, so don't be too far away from her. I think that's what ends up triggering that. You can try pinging off some shots at her. If you get some of the weak points, you might be able to take full advantage of that, but I find it really hard. Her weak point is pretty much her back, so you may need to slow down to get around her. You can see the unstoppable one is actually something to avoid a little bit easier. I found it was easier to get out of the way of that than it was just a normal attack, but the unstoppable's got 2 stages. She's got the one swing and then she's got the lunge. Now abilities, I'd messed around with different things here. I've got my poison that I was trying to get off, and I was hoping that was going to give me a little bit more extra damage. But watch how much damage I'm doing with each swing of my blades when I finally do that. Obviously, maybe having that perk as well where you can jump over her if she lunges at you. But Viking dive, or the Valkyrie dive, is probably my favourite. I just think it's one of the best. But you can see I'm barely doing 10, 20, maybe 30 damage there sometimes, as low as 10 for sure. It's a real challenge, this one. Maybe man's best friend to distract her a little bit, but she will kind of take him out a couple times very easily. And I know the harpoon is everyone's favourite, but there's nothing really to damage her with. Like, you can't throw her against any of the sides and get any additional damage here with that either. So I feel like that one's not as good. It will maybe cover that distance, but I still find the Valkyrie dive does that job as well, where you will get all that distance through. But eventually I got her. It was really challenging. I finally got the braces, 4 gauntlets pretty much, and obviously one of the bone blades. And oh my god, it was so good. You should have seen me shouting. I'm not going to play me cussing and pretty much swearing the whole time I was doing this. As I said, it took about 45 minutes, easily 7 times. I will be back with a full guide giving you all the info on all of them, a bit more briefer I guess, and showing you exactly my review of all the Thor's armour when I get it. But I reckon by that time a lot of you guys would have probably seen lots of videos. But I've got to say, they've been patching the game quite a bit, and I think that a lot of the stuff that people have been doing cheesing wise will find that a lot of this stuff may end up not working. Whereas this doesn't really feel like too much of a cheese. It simply is the ability with dual wielding weapons to be able to hold down the L1 button and do that attack on her. In fact, it doesn't even need to be dual wielding. I think you can do it with just any axe in your hands. You could try it with hammers or blades as well, but I find axes are just a sweet spot between speed and obviously damage. So to recap, you make sure that on her 3rd swing of the one where you can normally parry it, that's when you try and dodge past her, get that slow down, and then hopefully go in for an attack. And then just after she's done her unstoppable, that might be a good time to activate a ability. It's crucial that you keep getting your skills, your slots for your adrenaline filled up, otherwise you will find this extremely tough. Make sure you're fully stocked with mushrooms and arrows before, and if you're really a bit of a better shot, you should hopefully be able to get her in the back, but I just was pretty useless at this point with the bow and arrow still. When she's doing this attack, you just got to run around, make sure you're not locked onto her, and hopefully you can get away quick enough. And just some little pointers about what you can do afterwards. You can maybe go and take on the Zealot Woofer. He's pretty easy. He's not that challenging. He's really nearby. And there's also a forest hideout where it'll have one of the marks from the Ancients that you've got to take out here. So it might be worth visiting this place, pretty close. This is where I got the Carolinian longsword, so if you've got the armour set that you can get, the mythical armour set, the Carolinian stuff, and the pigeon skin, you can get that by linking your Amazon Prime account. I've done a video showing you guys, but link your Amazon Prime account, you'll get that armour set, but this sword completes it. So it's a sword you find in game, and the armour set you get given. So it's a nice complementary piece to it, alongside the spear and the shield. Also, obviously, as I said, that target is important for taking out, for doing the Ancients. There's quite a few elites in this area, so it can be quite challenging. I found it much tougher than I thought with some of the spear dudes, and Giffel is his name. He's pretty tough as well, so you might want to take your time a little bit more and try and just assassinate him first. I'll be back, as I said, with full guide on how to get all the 4 armour sets, doing it a more legitimate way, and obviously taking you through more Zealot battles and taking you through pretty much every Ancient Order kill. I'm going to do a full video showing every single kill and how to pretty much complete that storyline too. So until next time, Ratbags, hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you lot later on.